It's 2:14 a.m. Your phone buzzes with a notification that will change everything. I'm Lauren, 30 years old, and what I'm about to tell you will make you question everything you think you know about family loyalty. Because sometimes the people who raised you are the same ones who destroy you. And this is the story of how I learned to destroy them back. That blue screen glow hit my face like a slap. My bank account, $37,000 gone. In one transaction while I slept. The description: family assistance. But here's the twisted part. They weren't asking for help. They were celebrating with my money. The setup: 2 years of dreams shattered. For 2 years, I had sacrificed everything for one dream: Japan. Cherry blossoms, ancient temples, a solo trip to celebrate turning 30. Every month I put money aside. Every coffee I didn't buy, every dinner I cooked at home, every weekend I stayed in. It was all for this moment. $36,842.19 saved. Penny by penny. 3 days before my birthday, 3 days before my flight, they took it all. Not asked. And when I called my father, trembling with disbelief, I heard something in the background that broke me completely. Laughter, music, the sound of celebration. They were partying with my stolen dreams. The confrontation: when DNA becomes debt. Don't start with the dramatics, Lauren, my father said, like I was still 12 asking for permission. Your mother needed surgery. Patrick's truck died. The mortgage was behind. What were we supposed to do? You could have asked me, I whispered. Asked? For what's already ours after everything we've done for you? Then my mother's slurred voice cut through. What were you going to waste it on anyway? That ridiculous Japan trip. At your age I was raising you, not taking pictures of noodles. That moment something inside me died. And something else was born. The awakening, seeing the pattern. See, this wasn't just about money. This was about years of being their personal ATM. The mortgage I co-signed because Mom's credit was destroyed. The utilities in my name because Dad couldn't pass background checks. The credit cards, the loans, the endless, just this once, that became always. They'd been bleeding me dry for years, but I called it love. They called it family. But family doesn't steal your dreams while you sleep and then celebrate with champagne bought with your tears. By sunrise, I became something they never expected. A closed account. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I executed the financial equivalent of a restraining order with surgical precision. The mortgage I co-signed. Called the bank, reported financial duress. Automatic review triggered. The truck my brother drove under my name. Unauthorized usage reported. Repo company had the paperwork by noon. My mother's medical payment plan under my insurance. Suspended for fraud investigation. But I wasn't done. Every streaming service I'd paid for 6 years. The Amazon Prime they used more than me. Phone plan, utilities, insurance, roadside assistance. I cut every cord that connected us. The fallout, avalanche of entitlement. My phone exploded the next morning. The truck's gone. The mortgage company called. WTF sis. We're family. Family. That word only appeared when they needed something. The rest of the time I was just Lauren, the reliable ATM with a heartbeat, dispensing cash and second chances with no limit. I didn't respond. I continued my systematic extraction from their lives. Because here's what they forgot. I wasn't just generous. I was the owner, the co-signer, the guarantor. They treated my kindness as consent, my support as obligation. The desperation, when the hunter becomes hunted. By Friday, desperation drove them to my door. Through the peephole, I watched my father pace, face red with indignation. My mother pressed against the door in her designer cardigan, purchased on my credit card. Lauren, open this door. You're destroying this family. I sat on my couch, sipping coffee from a mug they'd given me. It read "Number 1 daughter" in gold script. The irony wasn't lost on me. For 17 minutes that doorbell rang. 17 minutes I counted like a meditation, feeling nothing but peaceful clarity. They took their revenge on social media. Mom posted, It's always the ones you raise who hurt you deepest. Blood means nothing anymore. The comments flooded in. Entitled generation. She owes you everything. Kids today don't understand sacrifice. That night I left one final voicemail. You chose your comfort over my trust. You broke what I spent a lifetime building. Now rebuild without me. Then I blocked every contact. The silence was finally mine. The test: emergency or manipulation. 5 months later, the ultimate test came. A voicemail. Your father fell. Broke his leg. No insurance. We need money for surgery. This is family. For 3 minutes I stared at my phone. That tone, the one that never came with apology, only urgency. Could pay it easily. But I opened my history folder instead. Screenshots of every betrayal, every stolen moment, every broken promise. I didn't call back. Instead, I texted through a cousin. I hope he heals, but I won't bleed again to fix their wounds. They found another way. They always could when they had no choice. At my cousin Jessica's wedding, I walked in wearing emerald satin. Not to mourn, but to mark that I was no longer the daughter they owned. I was the woman they couldn't reach. They watched me from across the room. When my mother approached and said, "You look different," I met her eyes and said simply, "I am." During the toast, my father raised his glass, expecting some gesture of peace. I didn't blink. Peace doesn't come from pretending nothing happened. It comes from walking through fire and refusing to carry someone else's smoke. It's been a year since they stole $36,842.19. Since the voicemail that broke more than my trust. The guilt doesn't hit the same anymore. It used to be a fire alarm in my chest. Now it's just background noise, easily silenced with truth. I built something. My own apartment, my own business, friends who don't say we're family, just to hurt me slower. This birthday, no call from them. But Jessica knocked with a cake and whispered, "You were never the problem. You were just the first to escape." The resolution: cherry blossoms and freedom. I never made it to Japan that year. That dream was stolen with my savings. But I've started a new travel fund. This one with better security and boundaries that can't be breached. Next spring I'll finally see those cherry blossoms. My mother still posts cryptic updates. My father still plays victim. But their voices don't echo anymore because I built walls out of self-respect. I don't care what they say now because I'm not theirs to ruin anymore. Mine fully, finally, freely. Here's what I learned. Sometimes the people who gave you life spend the rest of yours taking it back piece by piece. Sometimes cutting your lifeline is the only way to breathe. Sometimes choosing yourself feels like violence to people who only knew you as a resource. But I was no longer available for withdrawal. I stopped chasing blood ties and started choosing soul ties. The kind that don't ask for your pieces as payment. Because revenge isn't always loud and dramatic. Sometimes it's choosing not to reopen the door, even when loneliness knocks dressed in old love. Sometimes the greatest revenge is simply refusing to be their victim anymore. And that's how I learned that the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting free.